in your house, in your house, in your house, in your house. In your house, in your house.
Bada boom, realest one in the room. How you doing? I'm a certified G, bona fide stud. You can't teach that. And you are tuned in to IYH.
Hi, this is Isla Dawn, and you're watching In Your House podcast. This is Alexis Littlefoot, the Big Flexer, and this is In Your House.
Woo. Yeah. Woo. IYH Entertainment.
Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman. Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman.
In your house.
Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman. Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman, Pope in the Conman.
In your house. Guys, what is cracking? It's the Conman, and I'm in your house, and you guys already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we're here to give you that work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And guys, here we are. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. No, it doesn't mean that we're watching WCW this week. Normally we are, but this week we're hitting you with a new show, and that is Pope and the Conman, a new monthly show that's going down right here on the In Your House podcast network. And of course, I'm the Conman, but that's not why you guys came here. You guys came to see the amazing, the miraculous. He's been in the ring. He's been behind the curtain. He's been on commentary. He's seen the business from damn near every angle you could see it from. Former NWA World's Television Champion, commentator, wrestler, veteran, and most importantly, the man who's lived the business. I'm the man who's just covered it. You know him. You love him. The Pope, Elijah Burke. What is good, brother?
What you mean, what is good? It's all good in the hood, if you will. Pope is in town, Conman is down, and we about to go ahead and do what we do, man. And we're going to cover some of everything that's going on and around. And y'all know how I like to do it on Pope's Point of View. We get in the news, we get in the news, the letters E. So your boy just going to sit here, and I'm going to flow, man. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to talk about all this junk that's been going on, and see where we go from there.
Most definitely, we're about to jump in, and just like Pope says on Pope's Point of View, we're gonna dive and delve on into the situation. But hold on, before we do, we got to pay some bills real quick, because this episode is powered by NordVPN. Look, the internet already knows enough about you. It knows what you watch, what you buy, and probably knows your wrestling opinions, and they're terrible. So protect yourself with NordVPN. Right now, the household can get 75% on a 2-year deal and get 3 extra months off. All you got to do is go to inyourhouse.com/NordVPN. That's HOWSC. The W stands for work. You protect your privacy, you save some money, and you support In Your House at the same time. All right, Pope, Nord has protected us from the internet, but nobody can protect them from this conversation that we are about to have, because we're going to jump into this thing. Shout out to our guy, the voice, Josh Joseph, on the ones and twos, producing the show. But listen, there's been a lot of speculation, Pope. We've talked about it. You have talked about it on Pope's point of view with Pollo Del Mar. And it is a big conversation in the wrestling world, that conversation being paying dues. A conversation now we've had for the last week, but now this conversation has once again flared up with comments from Paul Wight, the Big Show, a colleague of yours at some point, and he's basically saying, dog, he's saying F paying dues. You shouldn't have to do any of that. Now, I listened to Pope's point of view on Saturday, and you had a different opinion on that. But you came up in a different time. What do you? And you know, the crazy thing about it is, Pope. Before I get your opinion, the crazy thing about it is that Paul Wight came up in those times as well. But you know, with the size and the look, he probably had to do a little bit less work than everybody else. Pope, what's your comments? What's your thoughts on the comments of Paul Wight and saying F paying dues in wrestling?
Well, first off, Paul's a friend. He's not just a colleague or former colleague. He's a friend.
Yeah.
And whether we were on his bus talking WWE or catching up in Jacksonville, AEW, Paul is still Paul, and that doesn't change. What does change is the fact that there's been so many people who have given a take on this matter, and you know good and well that, as you said, wait a minute, this guy came from this time, but maybe he didn't have to do all this. Well, you're talking about somebody in Paul Wight who Hogan had to call and ask him, as a 7-footer, being billed as 500 pounds, did you jump off the top rope? And if you ever do that again, I'm not doing business with you, right? So today you could be 7 foot, 500 pounds. It don't matter. The attitude of wrestlers and wrestling today has changed dramatically because a big man, 300 pounds can work like a cruiserweight, and there's no issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm alluding to is the fact that time change, people change, but certain things don't change. Certain things don't change. So I want to say, oftentimes, what does change is the perspective when it comes to the who's involved. Who does this surround, or who did what?
Yeah.
The situation changes then, and that's life in itself. Let me start with the president. Okay, let me start with Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
Prime example, right? This guy has come into the office. He has done things not the presidential way, to say the least. Not the presidential way, but he's done it the Donald Trump way. And what has happened, what you have seen happen over this course of time of him being in office, is people say, well, that needs to be done, or he's not held to the same standard or to the same accountability as previous presidents.
Yeah.
So what this does is it sets a dangerous, and again, whether you agree with him or not, that's not my case. I don't care. Whether you stand for him or not, I don't care.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do. What I'm telling you is that it is fact that because he is doing what he's doing, it has forever changed the presidential landscape, in my opinion. That's going to take a hard time for Congress and America itself to hold another president to certain standards when we've seen the things that have happened under this current president. Okay?
Yeah.
So now, with that being put out front, now with that being laid so that you can understand and cover this landscape, let me say this. tradition is something that wrestling has been built on. We've had the curtain calls. The lines have no longer been blurred, if you will.
Hmm.
You know what is and what ain't, and as a matter of fact, the curtains are behind the scenes now. So a lot of things traditionally that have stood no longer stand.
Yeah.
But as I said on Pope's point of view, uh, ignorance could have played a part when we talked
Yes.
about the son of AJ Styles.
Yep.
Maybe he just didn't know. Maybe he was not clued in. Because as I believe, Conman, this stuff, much like with respect outside of the house, it starts at home.
Yes.
Okay. Today I was in the gym. Okay. When you are brought up a certain way, you do not have to be told to hold the door for a lady or for anybody that's about to walk in behind you. You don't have
Facts.
to explain that. You don't have to be asked to do that. It's just who you are because it's instilled within you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Even Pope today, if I am at a certain place, myself, because of how I was brought up in the wrestling business, I'm going to offer my help, even if I don't have to help. I may do something, and at least have them. Somebody made a comment. I don't know who it was. Say, well, maybe they're doing it just to be acknowledged. Well, that's not necessarily uh, the
Facts.
consensus
True. Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah.
A lot of us do it because that's just who we are. And again, I don't hold the young man responsible in that aspect. If he was asked, that's different.
Yeah.
If he was asked to do so, then that is different. But to Paul Wight's comments, man, it sets a dangerous precedent. Because
Yeah.
now, what does that say about it? Is he different? And obviously that's the case here.
Yeah.
But is he different because he's AJ's son? So what do we tell everybody that's on the indies that's busting their butt to try to get, the opportunities that the young man got? I understand he was paid and he was flown in and they're trying to capitalize off his name. So yes, that does play a part. But if he was asked by the owner, or I don't know who this other guy was that capped all these things off. I never heard of him myself,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I got a question about that when you're done. Yeah.
yeah, but if he's quote unquote the veteran, the leader of the locker room, and he asked, then maybe that should have been adhered to.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. If he was asked and he said no to it, then it should have been adhered to. But I want to ask you
What
this
he
because
said was that the boy went in the head and he was vaping and smoking and
yeah,
stuff.
I heard that he was vaping and whatnot.
Yeah. So that's what that's what the claim was, and did not show back up until everything was over with, and then they had to hold the doors because they had to allow him time to get in the ring to fill it out and do some stuff that he wanted to do.
Wow, that's crazy. So let me ask you this, Pope, because the name of the gentleman who sparked this whole thing, Eric Cannon, that was his name. So let me ask you this, because we talked about this on a previous episode In Your House, but me and my team, we have one independent wrestler on the team, but he wasn't on that episode. So we can only talk about paying dues so much because we are not wrestlers. We are wrestling media, which is why we had to put a pin in that conversation until we brought you on here. But I want to ask you this, Pope. I understand everything that you're saying, all of that. This Eric Cannon guy, do you feel like that maybe he brought this public just to get a little bit of clout on his name? Because I feel like that a lot of this if all of this was dealt with offline, a conversation in the locker room, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now, Pope.
Yeah, maybe that conversation did take place in the locker room. Maybe that's why this conversation is happening a lot. Maybe this happened in the locker room. Maybe they were displeased with it. Maybe somebody said, call them out on it. I don't know, but I know what should have happened. He should have contacted AJ first. And reached out to him. But then again, who all has that ability to do so? So I feel like maybe the young man, whoever he is, maybe he should have got with the owner of GCW,
Yeah.
reported that to him, and then by way allowed him to be the mediator to AJ Styles if that was a problem. But then it falls back on the owner of GCW as well, because if he didn't have a problem with it, then nobody else can have a problem with it.
Yeah.
So whether or not it was brought to his attention, that's the issue. Did they bring this to his attention? And he was like, "Oh well, then there you go." So you can only hold so many people accountable based off of the perspective and the expectations of the individual on top.
Absolutely.
Because I'm telling you, when the locker rooms were being ruled by Undertaker, when it was being governed by Undertaker and JBL and all that
Ooh.
place, because Vince understood that you got to have a sheriff.
Yes.
You got to have a sheriff in the asylum, and so that's where the whole locker room leader and all that stuff come from.
Absolutely. No, I hear exactly what you're saying, but let's double back to Paul Wight real quick, because his philosophy was basically, I paid my dues so you don't have to pay the same dues. How do you feel about that philosophy?
Well, I mean, I guess I'd be in the same boat to say the same thing if I truly felt like that. I think, again, everybody knows. You follow me on Instagram.
Yep.
You follow me on Facebook, whatever social you follow me on,
Yeah.
you know my beliefs. And my beliefs echo into the real world. Every man must give an account for him and herself. Every man must give an account. So when it comes to paying dues, everybody got to pay dues. And that's and maybe that has changed what that looks like. Maybe, paying dues today, what it looks like differs from what we had to do to pay dues, but everybody has to pay their dues. That is that I don't necessarily stand on.
Sure.
I don't necessarily agree with, because again, there's a cost. There's a price to be paid by every man when it comes to this business ascending. And here's the problem. Here's what happened as a result. That mindset has literally, not figuratively, literally allowed others to just get in a ring because there's no dues being paid, there's no accountability. And so anybody, literally and literal cosplayers have gotten in the ring. Why? Because they got a cool look, they're a cosplayer, they know somebody, they know that, and so everybody can get in. Hey, here's my, it's like a kid in a popular kid in the neighborhood. Everybody come on over and get
wherever he wants.
Yeah, come on. Anybody get on? Yeah, anybody, bring them over.
Yeah, we like you, so you can come on over. No, I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. All right, so Pope, finish this sentence for me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to suffer to earn your spot, but you do have to blank.
You don't have to suffer to earn your spot, but you do. You got to go through something.
Yeah.
You got to go through something. You got to put the work in. So you may not have to suffer, but you got to put the work in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. And, I like what you said as far as paying dues now is different, or could be different than it was back then. Of course, everybody, and you and Poyo talked about it, of course, the infamous picture of I believe it was Jimmy Hart, picking up chairs and whatnot. Then I think Cody Rhodes sweeping up the ring with the championship belt around his waist.
Bushwhacker Luke still helps. You don't have to be asked these things, because that's who we are.
Yeah.
And even when, I don't want to talk about myself, but, ACW and I'm All Caribbean Wrestling and I know what I'm there for, and I don't have to do that. But I don't have to be told to give a helping hand. I'm one of the boys still.
Yeah.
Right? And that's part of being in quote unquote the system, in this fraternity. And that's the big part. That's the bingo part. You're part of a fraternity. Yeah. And so therefore you have to, you can't just get in but you got to fit in as well. And fitting in means doing the things that everybody else is doing without you don't have to be told to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it's real big, like, and even in my house, bro, like with my kids, like and like you said, it all goes back to what you said. It starts at home, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It starts at home. Like it gets to a point where I'm telling my son, hey, take the trash out, take the trash out, take the trash out. Now he takes the trash out without me having to tell him to do it.
Bingo. And again, we don't know what necessarily the young man has been taught. Look, prime example. Again, let me just finish this sentence.
Let's go.
We don't know what AJ has told him. We don't know what AJ has taught him. But if it were me and I were in that position, or a lot of people were in that position, we wouldn't want to be looked at as being privileged because of the name. Okay? Yeah. When Cody, if anybody, and this is why I disagreed with what Cody Rhodes said. I don't remember the verbiage, but basically,
maybe we can get Voice to bring that up. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, post mine good enough. I may not be Ric Flair, but I do remember. I may not be spot on, but basically what he said was he gets a pass because we don't, he was home being a man for XYZ years while AJ was on the road. So he gets a pass. And I just
I don't know if I agree with that.
I disagree with that because if anybody gets a pass, or could have gotten the pass, or should have gotten the pass, it would have been Cody Rhodes.
It would have been Cody Rhodes.
When Cody got the OVW, Cody did exactly what everybody else did because he wanted to fit in. He was in a fraternity, and he knew what that fraternity entailed for him to do. So, and again, I know, everybody tries to level the thing off because who it involves. But I guarantee you, if this was anybody that did not have a name, associated with them like AJ Styles, they would be thrown under the bus and everybody would be running over them after the bus. Everybody would be shoveling dirt on him. Everybody would be chastising that young man.
Oh, yeah.
So I get it. And facts are facts, and we know what it is. Again, whether you like him or not, Obama wore a tan suit.
Yeah, and they was on him for it. They wanted to impeach him
over a tan suit. But look at the things that are going on today.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, I just really wanted to get your thoughts on this whole situation. I don't want to run it into the ground because I feel like that everybody.
I don't think it's that at all. I really don't. I don't think it's running it into the ground. It's a conversation that's happening. It's current, and I don't think it should just die down. I don't think it should be a one and done, or it was a topic for a week. This should be a learning lesson for everybody else that's coming after. Because if you think you're going to get this treatment of those coming to the defense of you, if you decide to pull this at an indie show or any other show, then you're in for a rude awakening. Shout out to the Ravishing One. You're in for a rude awakening, and shout out to Ray Bruce as well. But listen, you have to know these things. You have to know these, and I think that the more this conversation happens, you're doing a greater service than you would by just letting this, again, for an overused term, being thrown under the bus and just be done with it.
Most definitely. And I wanted to pick your brain on that because I see where you're coming from with, all the stuff that you went through to get to where you are today. It's not easy, and especially we get it. That Styles name, it holds weight. Yeah, I mean, we're just saw we're not going to get too much into like shows or anything like that. That's not what this episode is about, and that's not what we talk about on Pope and the Conman. We're talking, shooting it, and talking whatever wrestling and not wrestling. But we just had Zilla Fatu last night that was in the ring saying, oh, well, I'm here to earn everything. I'm not a Nepo baby. And then he gets thrown right into an NXT championship match. match.
Right.
So it is what it is. But we could put a pin in that one. And like you said, this is something that I think should be continued to talk about. Not something that should just die down. Not something that should, it was just in the news for a minute and now we're going to let it all slide again. I think it's something that needs to be reinforced. Like I was talking about earlier with my son, take out the trash, take out the trash, take out the trash. Now he knows, he's programmed, he gets it. And if you drill it into a young person's head enough, eventually they're going to get it.
Well, my
But you
hope
have to
is,
be consistent.
yeah, my hope is, again, going back to that same scenario with holding a door for. I mean, you just don't have to be told that, And honestly, Conman, it's my hope that after all of this has happened and transpired, that okay, at his next show he'd be one, not to prove anything, but hopefully he'd be someone who makes sure to go get some of that steel rust on his hands by lifting up those ring posts and all the stuff. Maybe get a splinter here and there.
Get your hands dirty a little bit.
Get your hands a little dirty, man. It ain't gonna hurt. It ain't gonna hurt, and it'll help more than not.
Not at all. But okay, we are going to pivot here. We're going to take a quick break. But before we hit that break, I'm going to let you guys out there in the household know that I'm going to play a little game with Pope here when we come back from this break here. You guys are familiar with it, but it's my first time playing it with Pope. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous. I'll explain the rules on the other side of this break. Hey guys, it's the executive producer of the In Your House podcast, Alakon the Conman House, here to tell you on this commercial break to like and subscribe to In Your House on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at the In Your House Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe on Twitch at Team IYH. And remember to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And leave a review and 5-star rating. We thank you for your continued support. It all helps for us to stay charted and continue to give you that work. Hey guys, welcome back to Pope and the Con Man. I'm the Con Man, over there is the Pope, and now we're about to get into that's true, that might be true, or that's ridiculous. All right, Pope. All right. I'm glad
you said it like that, because the first time you was like playing. This is my first time playing with Pope, and I didn't kind of like the way you said that, but nonetheless.
I should have said pause after. Pause. Oh, you broke my producer over there. So. All right. So the rules of that's true, that might be true, that's ridiculous is that I've got about 6 questions here. 6 statements here for you, Pope. And when I give you those statements, it's your job to tell me if that statement is true, if it might be true, or if it's just absolutely ridiculous, and you just tell me why. All right. Let's get right into it. You guys out there in the household, in the chat, can play too, but we're going to give it to Pope here. So, all right, my first statement is, for the first time in, I think ever, WrestleMania will not be on American territory. It will be going to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania 43. So my statement is this: WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia proves that tradition in professional wrestling will always take a backseat to money. That's true, that might be true, or that's ridiculous.
That might be true.
Okay.
I don't think that's a true statement, because that is tradition. Tradition is create. First off, the bottom line is tradition is about the dollar. That's the tradition. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, tradition in wrestling is always about creating new territories. WWE has done that. Okay, they've done that. So to take WrestleMania over there, I don't think that's given a backseat to tradition. So, I mean, do we like it? Well, at this point, who cares? Just enjoy the product if you enjoy it, and if you don't, you don't.
Well, I'm gonna still watch it. I mean, I'm still
Yeah,
watching.
I mean, everybody, listen. One thing we found out. One thing, and don't get me started on Vince, who has already finished his legal woes.
Yeah, he
Okay,
did.
and
He
and
did.
and 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 I'll get back to that in a second. But one thing we know is that everybody complains. I mean, the same. And you know what I found out, Conman? And this is
Go
not
ahead.
something
Yeah.
I found out. This is not anything new. But you can't complain unless you watch.
Yeah.
They still
That's
gonna
true.
watch. They're still going to watch. And
Absolute
so,
facts.
so while you're sitting there knocking the product or knocking the fact that they're going over to Saudi Arabia, who cares? You're still going to watch. So shut up, stop
True.
complaining, and just let it be. Okay, and then when they come to your town and they got those high price tickets, you still shell out the go.
Yeah.
Shut up,
You still gonna buy
like for real.
hey, no, you're right. You're right. So, all right. I gotta ask you, or I gotta give you this next statement here. And you're somebody who wrestled in OVW. You came up that way, and you're also, really exciting as far as a star. As far as like your charisma and some, including myself, was like, man, this guy is a star. This guy's not just a wrestler; he's a star. So, like, I gotta put this statement out here and get your thoughts on it. The NXT Performance Center, it can teach somebody how to wrestle, but you can't teach somebody how to be a star. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because what they have set up down in NXT is basically a mirror on a small scale, much like OVW was. Um, and your question can be broad, but I'm narrowing it down to teaching them how to be a star.
Yeah.
Yes, that doesn't cover the charisma aspect. That doesn't cover the getting it aspect, but it definitely teach. Like today, I had a conversation with my co-host on Pope's Point of View, Polo Del Mar, which you're aware of, and Polo didn't understand why Pope can't travel with one carry-on bag, especially with the type of tapings that is done, with the NWA and multiple days or excuse me, multiple shows, and Pope's not going to go out in a t-shirt on national television. Pope's not going to go out in a tank top or jeans or wearing the same thing over from one taping to the next taping when I know that we're covering 3 to 4 shows. You can do that, but Pope can't do that. Why? Because I was raised a certain way. I
Yep.
was brought up in the business a certain way, and I know who I am on a level of Popeism, if you will. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no way Pope is about to go. There's a reason that every time I went out on Impact Wrestling, I always had different vests. I knew how to narrow it down, but I was gonna make sure I had interchangeable vests. Why? Because we were recording 4 freaking shows,
Yes.
in one day or 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's like, nah, bro. So my point is, that's not to knock on Polo and say Polo's not a star. What it is to bring light to Polo Del Mar that Polo is not on my level when it comes to understanding what that entails.
Yeah.
So I will suffer the consequence of having to, pay extra for another bag because that's my bag, if you will. I have to get in my bag when I become Pope, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When I started being Pope, I had to travel initially with a suit bag. Why? Because of my Pope jacket.
Yeah.
It's one of those little things. And you know what I said to
Yeah.
myself? If Flair did it all these years, I can do it too. You know what I'm saying? That is what it takes to become a star and maintain being a star. Then that's what I'm going to do. And so so that was a conversation I had just had. So yeah, I do believe that statement is ridiculous. I think NXT is literally what college football is to the
Yeah.
NFL. and so everything there is being taught right. We've witnessed it from the Bray Wyatts to the Seth Rollins to the Roman Reigns. We've witnessed it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just tough because you have so many stars nowadays that are coming from the college level, and it's like, yeah, they're teaching them how to wrestle, but it's like,
Well, yeah, that's a problem. That's a tradition problem. That goes back to that.
yeah.
That goes back to that tradition problem. There was a young man from NXT recently, Conman, who said, he's from California.
Yeah.
His real estate business is doing good. He said, I'm going to focus back on that. I want to focus on my real estate because, this just ain't for me, And this is what happens when we select people to bring them into something that they have no love for, but you're showing them the spotlight that can be placed on them. Today, everybody wants to be a star.
Yep.
Listen, you know me better than probably half the people watching. Most of the people watching. And you even know I don't like being in front of a doggone camera like that. If it ain't for a show, I don't want JJ. I don't want to be living in front of a camera, 10, 12 hours out of the day. But everybody want to be the content creator. Everybody's an influencer. Well, that's where we are today. Everybody wants the quick route to stardom. Yeah. And so when you go out and they've hit a home run with some of them, okay? Jared Briscoe is responsible for Brock Lesnar being there, and them going out and getting the Mark Henrys. But now it is so rampant and so, if you came to me and I was in college and I had no desire for or didn't even know what wrestling was, you know how many times I've walked into, hey, what's the girl name that was on Tough Enough? Stone Cold said, what's your favorite?
Oh, and then she said like Melina versus I think it was like Kelly or something like that.
Melina versus Kelly.
Whoa, what are you talking about, ma'am? That's oh my gosh.
Somebody just said, I love the spotlight. Hold on, let's be clear. In a professional setting, yes. But you can't get me to sit in front of this doggone computer or hold my phone screen up for more than an hour's time. Okay? Yeah. And that's when I'm doing something productive like this. Yeah. You don't see me around here putting my personal life and my personal business on social media. It's just not something that I do. I don't like it like that. I couldn't be a quote unquote content creator to that extent. People are making livings off of this, and kudos to them. But for those of you who don't know, I may not have my shades on right now, but you see the room is a little dim, right? And Conman knows, and those who know me knows that I suffer with the lighting. Yeah. So I'm light sensitive to my eyes. That's why I put have the shades on. And that was as a result of concussions. That was a result of boxing. That was a result of Matt Cardona throwing me into the ring steps in NWA as if he was doggone it, throwing Big Show into it. That just magnified it. Yeah. Even the worse. So this is not. Yeah, so when you have to sit and stare at a phone screen, it's not my thing. Most definitely. You're telling me you don't want the next Dalton and Sacco? Come on, man! Out there all on social media, they got 4.5 million followers on Facebook and stuff, and they got all kinds of drama going on. Everybody's talking about them on Dalton and Sacco. It's an interracial couple, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Is it real Sacco?
No, it's not. It's not her name is Sacco, but it's not Sacco. It's not.
I'm thinking it's Sacco. Lord have mercy. I'm thinking it's wrestling related. Lord
just some social media content creators who's milking it. But seriously though, I get you. I know, knowing you, people don't understand. Even though you're incredibly charismatic, you're you were, magnetic, but you're a private person too. So yeah.
I appreciate that, and not private per se, but really personal.
Yeah.
I've let you in, so, but we're personal. And no, I didn't shoot hard on Matt Cardona. If I wanted to shoot hard on Matt Cardona, I would have exposed the fact that he threw me so hard, I tried to protect myself, that it shattered my doggone finger. And that's so, no, I'm not shooting hard on Matt Cardona. That bastard, when I showed him that, he thought it was funny. Holy crap, I did that. So yeah, he thought it was funny. So but yeah, he had no, and he did apologize, obviously, but he had no idea. Like they didn't even know I was knocked out. Mike Knox, whom I just I adore him. Big teddy bear.
Yeah.
Mike Knox, he was trying to get me in the ring, and he was saying to himself, he was talking to me, saying, "Come on, brother, help me out here, help me." Like he was like, "You were so dead." I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably because I was,
Oh, no.
I wasn't there."
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, but I did shatter my finger. That's not this finger too. So that's not. I know it seemed funny, but it's really the truth. I tried to put my hand up, my head into the steel, and it just shattered it.
Damn, man. Yeah. Oh, man.
Just the tip, Kayla. Just the tip.
Oh, we love us some Pope. Construction worker, we see you out there, man. We ain't nothing wrong with content creators. You're just a rage baiting content creator. We love you though. That's the construction worker, Big Oja over there in Florida. Shout out to him. But we got to move on here because like it's Pope. He got things to do, y'all. So you guys can't be sitting over here monopolizing all his time. That's my job. All right. So let's move on here. So as we're seeing now, we see this chat. Here she go. Here she go. Here she go. Here she go.
I've already told Conman, make room now.
Yeah. That's a conversation for after the podcast.
Let's Pope After Dark. But go ahead, Conman.
Pope After Dark. But all right, so as we're here, we're on social media, using the whole social media machine to put this together. But man, it's just there's been so many cases where fans specifically, will go online, act a fool, and say some crazy stuff about wrestlers. Wrestlers are clapped back. The accessibility is off the charts right now. That led me to this statement: professional wrestlers have become too accessible to fans, and social media is partly responsible.
True.
That's true. That I didn't even have to finish it.
True. Listen, but again, man, there used to be a slogan, and it's so sad because they were doing this, and I think it was WCW, when they were doing the New Blood angles and Vince Russo, a guy who I have no issues with. I didn't like his stuff back then, but I have no issues with. But they were doing something with NWO as well, so it wasn't just with Russo, where they will come out there and they say, "What? Tradition sucks." And this is where NWO used to say it all the time. Tradition sucked because they was talking about WCW, and obviously we saw what it did because it got the fans to turn against WCW as well. But what we're doing now, it seems as if WWE being the key holder. Paul Heyman cut a promo recently while he had Braun in the ring and Oba.
I remember that promo.
And said that, we can't give this away here.
This is people got to understand box office, got to understand big match. Yes, it was a great promo.
We don't answer to the fans. We answer to the
shareholders. Yes.
So tradition is gone down a path to where it will not be able to return. Kayfabe will not return. It's done.
Yeah.
It's like NWO would say, tradition suck. Now there are aspects where fans still want to believe, but here's the flip part and the sad part, JJ. It's because now when serious things do happen, when real things do happen, everything's a work now. And it's like, but this guy's really hurt. How many people you think really believe Chelsea has a broken orbital? That's fake. They're
Yeah.
just, you know why? Because when they had everybody believing that Seth Rollins was really hurt, and he comes out just for a WrestleMania angle, and he had to sell. So it's still, you still can get these things over, but when you're backstage and showing everyone, now I know some of your watchers, listeners, including yourself, because I know, and point of viewers, if you will, since we
Yeah.
are sharing this on 45 Minutes of Fire and
We
then
are.
some,
And then some.
I know that they have watched that Unreal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I haven't. And so my point is, I haven't seen one episode. I refuse to. Can you imagine? I was in Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas during Mania as well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to David Copperfield's show, which was right across the street from the hotel I was staying at the MGM Grand?
Yeah.
Can you imagine going over there and he's showing you how he's doing those things? Nobody will go.
It's over. It's done. It's a wrap.
It's done. So right now with the take that they have done on tradition, meaning WWE, right now what we are seeing is it's okay for now. A lot of people are getting up, and it makes the fans, back to your social media post comment, it makes them feel like they are more apart now than ever. It goes back to the NXT as well, which I don't mind the NXT thing because it's more like hey, we helped create this guy. So they're all behind these guys that they like to help get them to the main roster. It makes them feel more involved. But I don't know. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing. I'm just saying it's a preferred thing.
For sure. For sure. All right. We got some questions here in the chat. I got Anthony Manzano. So you already know what it is, voice. Let's hit the chat. We got Anthony Manzano. He has a question specifically for Pope. He says, you wrestled both without social media and the beginning of social media at the height of it. How did you manage to keep your character together without destroying the credibility of it?
Conman came up to be in Indianapolis when we wrestled there. Conman was at the gate trying to get an autograph from Pope. Elijah Burke at the time.
Yeah.
And the first thing I told, right, the first thing I told him as he was at that gate, I told him, who's that girl with you? And of course he said, so I told him I take her home with me if he didn't chill out. But my point is, yeah,
Damn it.
that's exactly what I told him.
He did.
That's exactly what I told him. So to answer the question, it's just believing who you are. And if you don't, or believe in your character, and if you don't believe your character, then believe who you are.
Yeah.
I was Elijah Burke. That's not something that was a far fetch for me. Now, do I like, I like jugging at people. I love the stories that I'm telling you with Conman. He ain't the only one I've said something like that too. So I do have some fun with that, but I believe in protecting character. Back then, I wouldn't be seen riding with somebody I was feuding with either. I wouldn't be seen, even if I wasn't feuding with them. If I'm a heel and they're a babyface, I'm not going to be riding with them. But with the start of social media, it's real simple. I have wherewithal and just common sense of knowing what's appropriate to share and what's not appropriate to share. To this day, you've never seen me share something with somebody I've been feuding with, somebody I've had. Hey, where's that Matt Cardona picture at? And we've taken plenty. Where is it at?
Yeah.
Where is it at? You're not going to see it. I mean, maybe one day when I write a book or something.
Yeah. Memoirs, yeah.
But you're not going to see it. And so that's the stuff that, really makes the difference. It's having the wherewithal, the acumen, the business acumen to know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. I remember the White Six took a lot of heat. They're in a Waffle House, and you may not remember this. Not a Waffle House, Whataburger or whatever it was.
Oh, it was right after they debuted and they were all out of character. Right after they debuted.
And then it started going down. From they got into the tag title, but it wasn't going to work. You know why? Because you've already exposed everything. But good for them, because had they not done it, WWE Unreal would have done it at some point anyway.
It would have happened. Yeah.
It wasn't a thing then, but it would have happened eventually.
For sure. And Anthony, one thing about that you don't know about the Pope, or maybe you do know, but like he was taking advantage of the internet era at that time when he was doing the Elijah Experience around like 2007, I think it was.
That was on my website.
Yeah, it was on WWE.com too.
Yeah.
So yeah. I remember because I would literally go to WWE.com just to see what you were doing with the Elijah Experience. That's how much of a fan I was. That's fact.
I take that back. Yeah, that was on WWE.com, and I was on the Elijah Express on my website, and that was again, but it was still. I hate to say it, but it was still. It wasn't really kayfabe, because some people who were a part of it and who would come to those things, they knew who I was, and I spoke to them as a person. That's how Pope was born, by the way. I'm not going to get into all the ins and outs of it, but me doing the Elijah Experience on WWE.com, they came to me and they said, hey, we'll have this person if you want to handle all your emails and requests and everything like that, let them respond. I'm like, no. I'll take the time. All this traveling I'm doing, I'll take the time to get on my laptop, read, and respond to them. And that's how Pope was born, man. Because people, I assume they started feeling the genuinity, if you will, in my responses, and knowing, especially when someone like, oh my God, this is really you. And then it just and that's how the congregation was born. That's how I became the guiding light. That's how all of that stuff came to be.
Yes, the paragon of virtue.
Paragon of virtue.
All of that. Yes, most definitely. So yeah, for me, I have always said, because I have had the pleasure of having a friendship with you for, man, it's been, I mean, I first met you outside of Indianapolis, SummerSlam 2008. That was the first time that I met you, and then we linked up back in like 2019. So I've enjoyed a friendship with you since 2019, and I can say, for somebody who has the star power that you have and have been the places that you've been, you are genuinely one of the most genuine human beings that I've ever met. For somebody that's been to the levels that you've been to, you are genuine, you are authentic, and you are humble. Well, when you get to know you, but I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I have one last question, or one last thought for That's True, That Might Be True, That's Ridiculous. Then we're going to end the show with the segment called Pope Pick One. That's going to be the end of the show here. So the last statement I have here is this. I still consider myself a fan. I have the opportunity to go and do work for promotions and stuff like that, whether it's backstage correspondence and stuff like that. I'm definitely not on the level of a Pope in any way, shape, or form at all. But one thing that I do see is that some of these young wrestlers and the new, all they care about is moves and having a really good match and this and that. They don't really care about, making the people care. So my last statement is this: having a great match has become more important to young wrestlers than making the people care. That's true, that might be true, or that's ridiculous.
That's true. That's true. Again, I could have went with somewhat true, but the overall consensus is that's definitely true, because that does not, while it doesn't apply to, maybe 20% of the talent remaining, the majority, that's what it is. Yeah. And it's somewhat sad, but somewhat what wrestling has become. But yet, I still, to this day, I love to get the fans invested. I love to, I'm gonna give them a good match. I'm gonna give them a great match, but I want them invested. If me giving them an okay match and they're more invested in what's happening versus going out there doing this, that, and the other, and they could care less, then I live with that. But I want investment. And truth be told, man, today, um, certainly in some places, it's even hard to get them invested because they don't give enough time for things to play. Everything's moving so fast.
They don't let anything breathe.
They don't let nothing breathe. They don't get no time in the ring in certain places that shall not be named, and the list goes on. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought so too, and I really wanted to get your opinion on that. But yeah, that's true. That might be true. That's ridiculous with the Pope Elijah Burke. So we'll definitely keep tabs on that the next time me and Pope get together in about a month or so. We're trying to do this monthly or when something pressing happens that we need to have Pope's words, and you guys out there in the household know that Pope's words hold weight. But you guys know that. But what you don't know about Pope that I do know
Uh-oh.
is that Pope is quite the fan of adult animations. Yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that. So I always enjoy every single time when you post on your story the Roger the alien ripping Steve Smith a new one so he can get well again. And then hearing your laughs in the background brings me absolute life. It brings me absolute life hearing you crack up in the background. So for Pope Pick One to end the pilot episode of Pope and the Conman, the burning question, the burning non-wrestling question, what does Pope prefer? Family Guy
American Dad.
or American Dad? I
mean, listen. Now, unbeknownst to a lot of people, because again, as Conman just said, and he knows, and I know he don't want to hold me up. Pope got to get ready to head down to Tampa.
Yes.
That NWA tape is coming up, and I got some other stuff coming up as well. I'll cover that after we finish this, but I do want to say that JJ threw his hands up. Yeah, let me go ahead and talk about that first, and then we'll end it right. But yeah, so Pope, I got Kingdom Come that's going to be next week or whenever this drops. You may not know when this drops, but Pope's going to be in Louisiana on August the 29th, all right? For those of you on Pope's Point of View that's listening, if you're in Kenner, Louisiana, be sure to stop by. We are doing an event for the Love Alive charity. And the reason that we've come to start doing these events for the Love Alive charity, I'm going to get back to your question, Conman. I promise.
Absolutely.
I come back out. But hey, you remember that, right? I go in the woods, but I come back out. But August 29th, that's from the time that we're recording this. I'm going to be heading over to Kenner. We do these fundraising wrestling events because we don't get any support here in Jacksonville. We don't get no support from the government, as far as financial support is concerned, and so that's why we lean to you guys. That's why I call out to you guys, anybody that's listening, anybody that's watching. $1 help makes a difference in the lives of others. So please, if you can, head to love-alive.org. This will be our third event of this year, and we need your donations. We need your support, and I don't care if it's $2. I don't care if it's $1, but we've had 29 donations on the year. So the Love Alive charity is very near and dear to me. Why? Go watch the videos and you'll know why. We have our big, huge annual event coming up where we're going to be feeding, clothing, assisting the homeless to shelters, and we feed them out of McDonald's. We feed them out of Burger King in downtown Jacksonville. We clothe them. We have indigent packages. What that is, that's like care packets. We have feminine products, for the females, and the list goes on, guys. Clothes, shoes, you name it. So if I can get your help, great, and just remember this: it's their time now. It may be your time later. Boy,
Yep.
Conman, I can go into some stuff, but I'm not going to do it. But let's get back to your question, because I'm telling you, the amount of people that hit me up and be asking me, and it's like, bruh, you know about my charity? You knew
Yeah.
enough to hit me up and ask for help, but when you were okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just gonna leave that right there, because I ain't the Red Cross. I wish we were, but we just not. But back to your question, man. Listen, American Dad is always going to be number one over Family Guy because of Roger. Okay, now Family Guy, I know I'm a Stewie. I'm a Stewart fan as well.
Stewart. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a Stewie fan, obviously. And Stewie's not the most interesting one to me on Family Guy, believe it or not. If they
Really?
want, no, well, obviously it would Peter but for me it's Chris. I think you could take excuse me, Meg. You could take Meg and put her on a show by herself. It'd be entertaining, or Chris. But they have decided to run Stewie
Yeah, I did see that.
as a separate show. Listen, the Family Guys thing is this. It's run back and forth so much in the repetitiveness. How many times have we seen these flashbacks,
Yeah.
these cutaways? They can
Yeah, the
only do
cutaways,
so
yeah.
much. They can only do so much. With American Dad, Conman knew how to get me going on this.
Let's go. Let's go.
With American Dad, Roger can be and has been a different personality on every single show.
Yeah. Yep.
And on top of that, so they can literally take Roger. You take a show with Roger and you take a show with Stewie. Stewie's storyline is not going to hold up to what they can do with Roger's stories. That's
Roger's so diverse.
He's so diverse. Stewie is one dimensional. Yeah,
Yep.
they put a wig on Stewie every now and then. Yeah, he could be a cowboy and this, but Roger goes hard, man. Yeah.
I love
Roger got that killer instinct. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
I just love Roger, man. Yeah.
If Roger is the story of the episode, then you know it's gonna be crazy.
Right.
Let me ask you this:
No, he's the story when he's not the story, though. That's the crazy part.
That's true.
He's the story. He's always, yeah.
Is there a favorite Roger persona that you have? There is. There is.
There's too many, but the other one that I share from time to time is when they're running, they're running in that explosion and they're getting ready to fight.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to share it when we get done.
Please.
I'm going to share it, but he's basically I don't know, he's this news reporter lady or something. I can't remember.
Was it Jeannie Gold? Wedding planner.
Yes.
Jeannie Gold wedding planner.
But I don't know if I don't know if he's that when him and Stan are in that collision course when they're getting ready to fight one another.
Oh, because Stan was Ricky Spanish.
It's just the burning in the background. I'm gonna share the stories, but you make sure to share it so the followers and your.
I'm gonna share it as soon as you share it. I'm gonna share it, but yeah, I mean,
Peter versus the chicken, same thing. It's so played out. I mean, how many more times can we listen? Peter and the chicken was epic, but it's redundant now. So what did they have to do? They had to do Peter and Donald Trump.
Yep. They had to do something different, but it was the same fight scene.
Same fights.
It was the same fight scene. And like, here's the thing with American Dad, the evolution of American Dad has been so crazy because if you remember the old episodes of American Dad, Stan was a far right conservative, and they were spoofing on that administration during the first few years of American Dad. Well, when that administration left, the show was either going to get canceled or they had to pivot it. So they pivoted it, and like now, like there's many people out there online that's like, man, like American Dad is low key a black show. Like,
not even the black shows are black shows. That's why they canceled Cleveland. You know.
That was I watched that and like they did. I mean, Cleveland is not a black man, so I don't know what they thought they was gonna do with that. And then they put him in I think it was like Alabama or something like
Well,
that.
it wasn't that. That wasn't the reason it got canceled, though, Con, man. Cleveland got canceled because JJ was voicing them,
Really?
and people had a problem with it. So and yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. It's like, bro, they were able to take Cleveland, give them a standalone show, and then when all these different type of movements happen, people are misrepresentation. It's a cartoon character.
Seriously.
Oh,
Seriously.
Lord. So
Cartoon, bro.
Yeah, so they had to kill that. Thank goodness, none of the Looney Tunes were of different,
Yeah.
ethnic
Different
backgrounds.
ethnics and whatnot.
Yeah,
I mean, they were tripping out about Apu on The Simpsons. Like,
Yeah, same thing. And that's why they stopped that as well. Same thing.
yeah, man. Yeah. So I had to get your thoughts on that. I mean, I was teeing you up because I already knew what the answer was. I know you're an American Dad guy just like me, brother. I already know.
That's why, listen, had my cup of yogurt and my granola last night around about 2:00 in the morning. What am I doing? I'm watching American Dad as soon as I got out the shower. So
You say you had a what now?
cup of yogurt and
A
granola.
cup of yogurt? Why didn't you have a Nutri-Grain bar and a Mountain Dew?
Now wait a minute.
Nutri-Grain bar and a Mountain Dew. Nutri-Grain bar and a Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's because I still want to be able to fit in my sizable Pope shirt.
There you go. All right, maybe not
The
the
rest
Mountain
of you
Dew,
guys-
but still Nutri-Grain bar and a Mountain Dew.
For those of you who have not done so, your boy's going to be making a PO run as soon as before I leave.
Yeah.
And I got to head to the post office. Got to drop some shirts off, and make sure, guys, if you haven't done so, hit your boy up. You can follow me on Instagram, obviously at the Black Pope. That's DA Black Pope. You can follow me on Twitter the same, and of course Elijah Burke on Facebook, and the Black Pope. The Pope EB or Elijah Burke over on TikTok. Hit me up if you want to order your shirt, because once t-shirts are done and they are dwindling, they are not coming back. Okay, and you're gonna want it. I'm telling you, you're gonna want it. We got some big things coming down the pipeline.
Yes, most definitely. I will be purchasing a shirt so I can support my man Pope, continuing to support the Love Alive charity and all the amazing work that they've done there. Pope, I appreciate you making time. I know you're moving. You got a lot of things going on, man. Big charities, NWA events coming up, man. So I know you plugged everything, but I just want to thank you for making time, and we'll do this again next month.
I'm just happy that I was able to sit here with you, and that's going to keep me from having to sit with Polo Del Mar. So that being said, that gives me a break. And guys, y'all be sure to give a shout out to Polo Del Mar or Pollo.
Pollo.
We'll return next week, or the week after this drop, whatever that may be for you, and we'll be back to our regular scheduled program. And me and Conman, again, news break. We'll be right here to cover it, as always.
Most definitely. Make sure you grab a Pope NWA shirt. I'll share the links and whatnot so you guys can find them. You guys out there in the household, I'm gonna put the shirt in our Discord, so everybody that follows our Discord, you will be able to see the shirt. You can contact Pope, or you can contact me to contact Pope to get you a shirt in the household. Whatever I can do to help my man get it going. Love Alive charity. We're gonna drop that link in the Discord as well. As far as what I've got going on, I know for certain this Monday, special start time for Monday Night Raw, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be doing a watch along for that, a Monday Night Raw watch along. Next Wednesday, myself and Voice will be back doing the WCW watch along. We're going to continue the U.S. title series. We just watched Super Brawl 7 with Eddie Guerrero going up against Chris Jericho for the U.S. title. So that was a good one. We also watched on Voice's suggestion Goldberg versus Raven for the U.S. title. What are we going to watch for the U.S. Championship Series this Wednesday? Check the Discord to find out. We'll drop it in there. One last thank you to my brother, the Pope, Elijah Burke, and all his amazing insights, everything that he brings to the table. Guys, you already know what it is. This is all part of the work. That's HOWSC, and the W stands for work. So for the Pope, Elijah Burke, and the whole team here at In Your House, I'm Alakon the Conman House, here to remind you to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to hop on this bandwagon. Get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. Hey, we'll catch you next time. Peace. Woo. Yeah. Woo.